Have you actually read the entire Bible, or do you only know the famous stories? Most Christians have never heard many of the incredible events hidden in Scripture. Some sound like they belong in a movie, yet every one of them is found in the Bible. Today's challenge features 15 shocking Bible stories that are real, biblical, and surprisingly difficult. Let's see how many you can answer correctly. Question 1. Which prophet was told to shave both his head and beard with a sword as part of a prophetic sign? A. Ezekiel. B. Jeremiah. C. Hosea. D. Amos. Correct answer, A. Ezekiel. Reference, Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 1. Question 2. Which king secretly stabbed the Moabite king Eglon so deeply that the sword disappeared into his body? A. Gideon. B. Jephthah. C. Ehud. D. Othniel. Correct answer, C. Ehud. Reference, Judges chapter 3, verses 21 and 22. Question 3. After defeating Sisera, what household object did Jael use to pin him to the ground? A. A spear. B. A sword. C. A tent peg. D. A tent peg and a hammer. Correct answer, D. A tent peg and a hammer. Reference, Judges chapter 4, verse 21. Many people answer tent peg. The Bible specifically says she used both the peg and the hammer. Question 4. Which prophet was commanded to hide his linen belt by the Euphrates River until it became ruined? A. Isaiah. B. Jeremiah. C. Ezekiel. D. Zechariah. Correct answer, B. Jeremiah. Reference, Jeremiah chapter 13, verses 1 to 7. Question 5. What unusual punishment came upon Miriam after she criticized Moses? A. Blindness. B. Leprosy white as snow. C. Paralysis. D. Deafness. Correct answer, B. Leprosy white as snow. Reference, Numbers chapter 12, verse 10. Question 6. Which king burned the scroll containing Jeremiah's prophecy piece by piece as it was being read? A. Jehoiakim. B. Zedekiah. C. Josiah. D. Jehoiachin. Correct answer, A. Jehoiakim. Reference, Jeremiah 36:23. Question 7. Which prophet's servant became permanently leprous after secretly accepting gifts from Naaman? A. Elisha. B. Gehazi. C. Obadiah. D. Hazael. Correct answer, B. Gehazi. Reference, 2 Kings 5, 20 through 27. Question 8. What happened to the altar at Bethel when the unnamed prophet spoke God's judgment? A. Fire fell from heaven. B. It split apart and its ashes poured out. C. It collapsed into the ground. D. It turned to dust. Correct answer, B. It split apart and its ashes poured out. Reference 1 Kings 13:5. Question 9. Which king was killed by a lion because he ignored God's warning delivered through a prophet? A. Jeroboam. B. Baasha. C. No king was killed by a lion. D. It was actually the prophet who was killed. Correct answer, D. It was actually the prophet who was killed. Reference 1 Kings 13:24. Question 10. Which tribe nearly disappeared from Israel after a civil war recorded in Judges? A. Dan. B. Simeon. C. Benjamin. D. Zebulun. Correct answer, C. Benjamin. Reference Judges 20-21. Question 11. Who was struck dead after touching the ark while it was being transported on a cart? A. Hazael. B. Ahio. C. Uzzah, not Ahio. D. Eleazar. Correct answer, C. Uzzah, not Ahio. Reference 2 Samuel 6:6-7. Question 12. Which prophet witnessed an axe head float after throwing a piece of wood into the water? A. Elijah. B. Isaiah. C. Elisha. D. Ezekiel. Correct answer, C. Elisha. Reference 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 6. Question 13. How did King Zedekiah's sons die before he was blinded? A. They died in battle. B. They were executed before his eyes. C. They were burned alive. D. They escaped to Egypt. Correct answer, B. They were executed before his eyes. Reference 2 Kings chapter 25, verse 7. Question 14. What happened immediately after King Uzziah illegally burned incense in the temple? A. The altar collapsed. B. An earthquake struck. C. Fire came down. D. Leprosy broke out on his forehead. Correct answer, D. Leprosy broke out on his forehead. Reference 2 Chronicles chapter 26, verse 19. Question 15. What happened when the Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant and placed it beside Dagon? A. The Ark disappeared. B. Dagon repeatedly fell before the Ark and later his head and hands were broken off. C. The temple caught fire. D. The priests fled immediately. Correct answer, B. Dagon repeatedly fell before the ark and later his head and hands were broken off. Reference 1 Samuel chapter 5, verses 1-5. How many did you answer correctly? 13 to 15? Bible scholar. These stories prove you've explored the less traveled pages of Scripture. 9 to 12? Excellent. You know far more than the average Bible reader. 5 to 8? Solid effort, but there are still many fascinating biblical accounts waiting to be discovered. 0 to 4. Don't worry, the Bible is filled with incredible stories that many people have never heard. If you enjoyed this challenge, like the video, subscribe, and leave your score in the comments. And don't miss the next quiz where we'll uncover 15 Bible facts that sound fake but are absolutely true.